What's up, world? I go by the name of Jabari. This is Monday, so you know what it is, another Words with Friends podcast. And if you did not know, you can support the Words with Friends podcast on Patreon. You can support it with as little as $1 per podcast. 4 podcasts a month every Monday, which means that's only $4. $4 a month to support interesting, thought-provoking conversation with some really creative people, some really dope folks. And what that does, it allows me to keep the podcast running, to keep it going, and to keep providing it to you guys, man. I really like the feedback that I've been getting, and I just like doing this stuff. So if you like it as much as I like doing it, send $1 per podcast. You don't even have to give $1. You can give as little as you want or as much as you want. And yeah, patreon.com/Jabari. That's patreon.com/Jabari, and you can check out more there and give the podcast a tip. Without further ado, after all of that was a mouthful, sorry. But my man, Ben Hindman, what's good, man?
Hey, Jabari, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, I am sitting here in the Splash That headquarters, I'm going to try to give you this grand introduction, man. So
please.
For those that know, I throw a party called Colors. And a lot of you know that I've been throwing a huge party called Surprise Party. And when you buy a ticket, when you RSVP to any of my parties, you're going to a website called Splash That. And the ticketing process and the email process and everything is just very beautiful, seamless. And it's just an incredible user experience, I think. And it's all thanks to this man and his team. I've been using Splash for literally 3 years now.
Wow.
And Ben says he thinks I was the first person to get on it. I'm not sure if I was.
I'll never forget it. We saw this huge black and white image, and we were blown away by the design of it.
Yeah.
And it changed our product, man. We've grown. We've grown massively. We'll be doing 50,000 events for Budweiser, for Anheuser-Busch. And yes, it all started with a Jabari presents. Wow. Yeah, true story.
That is crazy, man. I'm so happy to hear that, man.
Yeah,
I got a little bragging rights for Splash now.
Absolutely. Tastemaker, man. Early adopter, to say the least. Yes.
Man, so you are the CEO and founder of the company.
I am.
Let people know what exactly Splash is.
Sure. So it's called Splash. It's splashthat.com, like splash, not this, but that. Splash is a event management tool. Very simply put, before your event, we try everything we can do to make your event look awesome. Mm-hmm. Collect RCPs, learn about your attendees, track all your marketing activities around your event. And after the event, it lives on forever. After you check people in using our product, after the event you grab photos. During the event you're grabbing photos, you're taking photos, and you're creating these beautiful photo galleries. Our feelings are that events are the most powerful way to connect with people. Mm-hmm. And really, it's amazing. For years and years and years, really since the dawn of time, the most beautiful artwork has promoted the greatest events. If you think of world fairs or Woodstock, the greatest events have the most beautiful artwork, kind of until the year 2000, when it was really hard to create beauty to promote your events. And so our goal has been to give people tools to make really beautiful websites.
Nice.
So that's how we think about it.
Yeah. I mean, I literally just, when I remember when we first started throwing a Surprise Party, I was like, well, what do we use for the tickets? And like, how do we get people to come? And I was seeing, there's stuff that's come and gone, man. Like, it's not even around anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But, there was like Ticketfly was one, and there was a few others that I was looking at, but there was just nothing that was. I'm all about aesthetic, and I'm all about making things that look clean and that are just like simplicity and good, clean, and easy. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
beauty. It's important.
Yeah, because in every step,
these events in our minds. These moments are so impactful. These memories are so big in our minds, and often, it is tough to create that beauty and that effect online. And so that's at least what we spend a lot of time on, is giving people these types of tools.
Yeah,
and it's working, man. It's growing.
And so, what made you want to start the company? Because you were working at Thrillest.
I was. So I was the director of events at a company called Thrillest. For those who don't know, Thrillest is an email newsletter targeted at guys, guys 25 to 35. Mm-hmm. And so I was running all of their events, and I ran into the same problem that you ran into, which was every single time I had this idea for an event, it was just so hard to make it look as cool as I thought the event should look and felt.
Yeah.
And we started building this as a way to address that, to make it easier for people to do this.
Wow.
And it's taken a lot of turns, man. It's actually kind of cool. Thrillest is one of our clients now.
Yeah,
so we power
full
all of their
circle.
events. Yes, we love that. And what we've done is we've taken brands that have the same feeling, including your own, but brands like Red Bull and Hennessy and Spotify and Facebook. We run all of Facebook's events. Brands that care about brand, we really try to work closely with them and try to give them those types of tools. And that really, it's amazing because the people who are using our product now are me from my old life, event planners.
Yeah.
And I'm still planning events.
Yeah. So, okay,
events.
what were you, like, how did you start to get into events? Were you throwing parties? Were you doing,
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was in a fraternity in college and, I threw my high school prom. So I've thrown events in my life, but my first big event I threw was called the Summit Series, and I would recommend anyone check this out. It's incredible what these guys have done now. If you go to
the stuff in Eden, and
the stuff in Eden.
Yeah. My friend Kenji works there now.
Oh, I know Kenji. Yes, of course. Yeah. So summit.co to check that out. They just bought a mountain, as you said.
Yes,
Eden.
Powder Mountain.
Powder Mountain. It's incredible. So I threw the first one of those with a guy who started, guy named Elliot, and it was incredible. It was in Mexico, and I had no idea what we were doing, but we got it done, and we got a bunch of people, as all of our first events happen, right? You just kind of get it done. Yeah. And it was at that first event, a guy named Ben Lear, who started Thrillest, he was on that first one, and he's like, what do you do for a living? I used to own this walking tour company in DC.
Okay.
He said, sell it, come work for me. And so I moved up to New York and started throwing these branded events.
Wow.
And that's what got us here, man.
Wow.
Enough of those. You start to get gray hair. And, yeah, man.
Wow. And so, what was it like, man? I mean, coming into the event ticketing space. I mean, I'm so passionate about this, man, because I throw this party and I want the experience to be right from when people step in the party, but not only to when they get to the party, it has to be right, but when they hit the page, when they initially go to a colors party, ticket link or an RSVP link, they see it and they're like, okay, this is something that I want to be a part of.
The event begins right there.
Yeah, and so is that what you were thinking about when you made the company?
That's a great question. I mean, to be sure, that's where it's gone, and we are really happy about the way that people are using it. Man, because I didn't realize what a saturated industry this really is. If we're talking about the ticketing space, everyone and their mother has tried this type of business. Yeah. Whether it's been event discovery or ticket powering or email invitations. I just didn't realize. I think in a lot of ways, that's what's helped us become so successful in this space, is that we're coming at it from a little bit of a different angle. The way that we've been thinking about it, I wonder if this has been useful in our success. We conceptually call it the branded event, where a lot of people, and this actually is true to you, their events are businesses unto themselves. That's a ticketed event. When the event is a business, and that's kind of all that it is. It stops after the event. You spend 10% of your marketing budget to market that event, and that's it. Yeah. But I think you would argue that the success of your series, the Colors Party or the Surprise Party, don't get me wrong, the tickets are revenue, and that's a big deal, but your brand is much bigger than that.
Yeah, people trust that.
Yeah, and your events are really just an expression of marketing, right? So really, that's at least how we've been thinking about it. Our users are marketers that use events and believe that events are the most powerful way to connect with their attendees. And while their challenges are very similar to ticket sellers, strictly ticket sellers, their goals are often a lot different. Marketers' goals, as we've been seeing, have a lot more to do with human beings, with ROI, with impact, with reach, right? Longevity, with brand growth. And so we've come at it from that angle. And it does seem like this is a moment in time where that's become important to people. Yeah. As people are becoming brands unto themselves, right? As people, I am a brand now, and everybody's a brand. Yeah. So I think while this has been a saturated space, I think a lot of times people came at it from the transaction and didn't come at it from the point. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I got you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how do you, what people don't really understand, I think, and I wasn't even thinking like this before I started throwing a party and before I had my own event, but what is like you said, how much you actually interact with some sort of ticketing or event operation. You know what I mean? It's like you're getting a Facebook invite from somebody, you're getting a Eventbrite email from something, or your
get an email, you get a tweet,
some type of calendar,
there's a web presence, you have a calendar attachment.
It's always
there's
something.
A million little things.
And people just like that. It's kind of like that was a space that people weren't thinking about in terms of ease. You know what I mean? So like when you started Splash, what was competition to you? You know what I mean? And what was...
Well, it's an interesting point you bring up, man, which is ease. While I don't disagree that ease on the event planner is very important, what we have found is that, like, I'll say it faster than anybody, there are some players in the market, Eventbrite being one of them, that convenience is their game, right? You can, or even Google Calendar. I mean, they make it super easy. But what I think we're keying into, and I think this is an important insight, events, on the spectrum of priorities of an attendee, don't get me wrong, nobody likes things that are hard to do, right? But when you want to go to an event, you kind of don't care how hard it is. You care about the event. So our focus has been about more on the list of goals, creating aspirational activity as opposed to creating convenience.
Gotcha.
Now, don't get me wrong, man. Event planners need ease of use. Everybody needs ease of use, like we better nail that. But that's not the point, right? Creating that aspirational effect, like, man, if I could go to this event, I mean, people wait in line for hours to go into events. That's not easy, right? But they do it.
But they'll still do it.
The power of aspiration is what we're keying into, and at least that's what we've had to, in this very saturated market. That's been our battle axe. That we can make your event look awesome enough that it kind of doesn't matter how hard it is to deal with. But again, don't get me wrong, we try to make this as easy as possible. And for anybody who actually uses our product, it's ben@splashthat.com. If you have any problems with the product, you let me know.
And we'll get right back.
I'll get right back to you and we'll fix it. But I guess my point is, look, when you have to, as a small business, and anybody who's listening who has a small business knows this better than anybody, you got to choose your battles. Right? When you're going up against giants, you got to choose your battles as far as what you're going to focus on. Our thoughts have been the concept of aspiration. Focus on that as opposed to ease of use. But it's been interesting.
I mean, so, one thing that we all sort of have experienced is the giants, right? When you go to a concert, you're using Ticketmaster. Or you're using, what's some other ones?
I mean, Ticketfly is huge. There's a big company called Cvent, which is more a conference registration. But to be sure, in the space, they're a giant. There's a lot of them, man. Eventbrite's not small. It's got valued at $1 billion. That's,
really?
They raised, what was it, $60 million on $1 billion. That's insane. It's a lot of money. It's a lot. It's hard.
And so, you guys, I mean, you guys are doing some great things over the past.
Thanks,
how old
man.
are you now?
So it's been 2 years, really. Well, 3 years since you started, but it's been 2 years since we've started with revenue and started thinking about how to grow the business. So,
it's like, how do you compete with those players?
I'll tell you something that I think is true, but like you're gonna be like, I don't know. I think I'm cool. Like, I think I'm really cool, and I think you're fucking cool. I think that to a certain degree, when you know that you know, so I'm a Jew. We have this thing, it's a word called sechel. It's somebody who knows that they know. You just kind of like know that. I don't know, man. You're right. This is hard. I've been having to follow this compass, and my whole team, I've got a bunch of sechels, right? Guys who just follow their inner compass. I do believe that there's a space for that, and I think that a lot of times when businesses get that big, it's hard to have people who are kind of leaders in thought, are willing to take chances based off of their gut, right?
Because when you get to that point, man, it's just all about the way we do things and red tape. And it's like if something comes in that's creative and it's like, oh, we should change this up. Well, it's like one person can't approve it. So
right, but in these small days, it's been useful to us. We've been able to grow pretty fast, and man, it's been tough. Don't get me wrong. A lot of late nights. Hustling hard has been helpful against these big beasts. But,
I mean, so let's talk about that, man. I mean, Ben, how old are you?
So I'm 30 now. Just turned 30.
Just turned 30, man. I mean, you have been given this the past 3 years of your life, man. What type of life sacrifices?
Oh man, that's my girlfriend. It's been tough, man. A lot of late nights. Like you kind of start to wonder, like, if you could do anything else in a way. It's scary, man. Like any entrepreneur knows, this is super scary. And like, God, I don't know, how do I even answer that? It's all the time. Your brain has to be constantly around it, and like failure is almost a we can't fail. We're not allowed to.
Yeah.
This is so like this is we're all in. Our entire being is this.
Yeah, there's no plan B.
No, and like honestly, like I've had to in my life come up with a plan B because I was operating for a while from a place of fear because I couldn't imagine a plan B. This was it to me. So you almost have to envision that. Don't worry, like there will be other stuff if this doesn't work, because otherwise you can't operate correctly.
Yeah.
Operating from fear will never work.
Yeah.
But man, it's been a scary, scary journey. I mean, I'm really happy to say that the timing of things has worked out well. We've been able to get press when we needed it. We've been able to pick up momentum when we needed it, money when we needed it. And that's allowed us to raise, a significant amount of investment, a significant amount of users, the types of brands, type of revenue have come in when we needed it. But man, oh man, it's been close.
Yeah.
We've been just charging at a brick wall, hoping we've going fast enough to break through it.
Yeah.
And that's business, I guess. But holy moly, man.
How important, man? I mean, I interact with a lot of people on your team, and everybody is super efficient and very.
They're in, right?
Yeah, you can tell.
In.
I mean, like sometimes it'll be late night, and I'm like, yo, guys, I have this party going on, and something's not working on the site, and So it's like, how? Number one, man, how do you find those people? Because for me, it's like I do a lot of stuff sort of solo, but I do have a lot of people sort of on the behind the scenes that people don't know that have such big, huge parts to do with like my success. I mean, my best friend Victoria, she's like on the background of a lot of the things that I do. I have my friends that run that music festival I was talking to you about, Thrillest. There's so much stuff that we talk about in terms of like aesthetic and art and all that stuff. So it's like a lot of my friends, while they're not my employees or anything like that, but my team, I feel that I have, is very instrumental in the success of me. You with employees, man, how do you go about picking those employees and finding the right team?
That's a great question. Well, I would say a couple of things. I mean, your point is right. You want to go fast, go by yourself. You want to go far, you got to go with others. Yeah. You cannot do this alone. Yeah. What I found twofold. Don't be stingy when it comes to equity. My whole team owns this business. Yeah, wow. That's a big deal, and we've given a lot of this business to the people that work with us. And like I often see entrepreneurs who kind of think that you need to protect that. Success in a lot of ways is binary. It's yes or no. It's on or off. It's just you got to get there, right? You need the team to get there. So that's that point. Interestingly, this is an incredible experience. We have not recruited one of these guys. They found us. Really? Everybody on our team has found us. And I do think there's something to that. When recruiting a team, if you find that if somebody's come to you, that should in itself carry twice as much weight than if you went to find them. There's something about that initiative and that kind of buy-in that lasts forever, right? I think that's really important. But look, man, I will also say that like I try and like, man, I do think, I believe, and humbly would say, it has to come from the top down. I often see people who like, don't care so much, but they expect the people that work for them to care so much. At the end of the day, like, if you're not caring, your people aren't going to either. And so like, they see how freaked out I am, they're going to be freaked out too, or how passionate I am. So that's a lot of it. But your question was more about recruitment. Man, how do you find those people? Yeah. Man, isn't this something? As I said, if they come to you, that's a big deal. So my world has been designers and developers, right? Yeah. Right? So one thing I will say is that the people who we've hired are people who can do things that I cannot. I guess that's an interesting question. Like, that's very important, though. Just know when that's that person, right? Find a person that does something that you admire, and a lot of times those people are not underneath your nose, and a lot of times it's very easy to say, "Well, who do I know?" Right? And just go there. Don't go there. Find the people that you admire through other networks if you can, and when you find them, man, oh man, spend the time to find them and get them. Yeah. And then give them everything you can. Give them advice. Give them, teach them how to work with you, and give them a piece of your dream. And if you do that, if you give to those people, you help them through. God, man, what they give back is, we're upstairs right now in our office. Downstairs in our building, man, these guys are running Fortune 500 companies events. They're building our product in ways that like I could never have even imagined, and like it's just that investment came back 20 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, it's about people for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Well, God, as you said so aptly, like we can't do this alone.
No,
like,
it's no way.
Nowhere close, man.
Yeah.
Nowhere close. It's special to have people around you like that.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Yeah.
I it's like, as I get a little older, man, I just start realizing these age-old sayings really ring true. It's like, when you look at the 10 people that you spend the most time with, it's like,
yeah, they change you.
Yeah, those are the people.
You.
Yeah, it's you.
That is you.
It's for sure, man.
Yeah. So it's for sure your team. It's everything.
Yeah.
Another thing I will say too, and this has been useful to me, and what hopefully this can help others. If you can, and like I say this as I'm on like a cool podcast, I should be bringing my guys on. My point is going to be, get your guys press. Get your guys notoriety. Make a big deal out of the people that work with you. As much as you make a big deal out of yourself, it'll give them ownership.
Yeah.
It'll give them vanity. And I would argue that more than money, vanity, pride, dignity, those are the things that people work for. I've been finding that to be really effective. We send marketing emails from my team. We make videos of everyone on my team. Yeah. We make them part of this immediately. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
For sure, man. I think that's, people just, a lot of people are doing work right now, man, and they don't take pride in it. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
Like, that's a big theme on this podcast, man. It's like making people aware and not just making them aware, but reminding people that you got to find what it is that you love to do. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And you have to put a lot of time and energy and focus into that, because that's what this life is about to me. I really think that that's what it's about.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
As long as we don't starve, you're absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. I mean, sure, you got to pay bills and you got to put food on the table and all that stuff.
Yeah, man.
But I really do believe that, once you find what you take pride in and once you find what you're skilled at and want to show the world, man,
shouldn't be doing anything else. It's
no,
true.
Yeah. So,
man.
Where do you see the company going now?
Yeah.
What's
Man, it's been crazy because I've been in the middle of investor pitches and I'm trying to raise money now. So that's the only question I can answer. I haven't answered that question all day.
Yeah.
Where I see this going, I believe that there's still a huge hole in this market. I believe that it's still difficult to make your events look awesome. It's difficult to connect and understand your attendees in a way that's really like actually real.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, like events, it's like you have the attention of the most important people ever for 3 hours.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
When does that ever happen? That's special.
Yeah.
And not only that, you're creating memories. Like, people don't want ads, people want memories, right? This is a really impactful activity that lots of people are doing and spending too much money on.
Yeah.
So when you ask that question, where's this going? In my dream of dreams, I would hope that we can add the ability for people like you, real people, to operate effectively and to really connect with others using events, using experiences. If we can become the de facto platform, the platform that allows people to find, to discover, to engage with, and to relive events, man, that would be something really powerful and can be used for massive amounts of change in this world. Yeah. As crazy as that sounds.
But it doesn't, man, because, I mean, that's how I think of my party, man. When I have this party colors, man, it's like, it's not about anything pretentious. It's not about how much money you have. It's not about, the typical bottle service and like,
of course not, right?
all of the stuff. It's like, man, there'll be a celebrity in the party and they'll be just with everybody else partying, and that's how I like to do it.
That's
it's
the
very
equalizer.
Exactly.
We're all humans.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, that's it, man. And so like even something as simple as an event, man, even something as simple as this party that I throw, it's like, I think that what it does is, like you said, for 3 to 4 hours, it changes people's perception and it changes people's like. It changes the status quo of what, and I'm throwing parties in New York and LA. So it's like, in LA especially, it's kind of built on this whole vibe of like exclusion and separation. And even the way a lot of the bars and clubs are built, man, they're built sort of with like a a U shape where like the higher you get in the club, you start looking down at people in
the pit.
Yeah, the pit, you know what I mean, on the dance floor. And it's like we're all at a party, but nobody's dancing, and we're all, and like if you're up high, you're looking down at the quote unquote dance floor where nobody's dancing, and you're just looking at them and you're thinking that somehow you're better than them. And what I'm trying to do, man, is honestly smash all those walls and bring all that stuff away and say, hey guys, everybody is everybody. Let's come into this party and have a good time and do what we're supposed to do and dance and mingle and talk to each other and find out about one another. And fuck, man, we might even like end up working with one another, or you might even end up, finding your spouse in there, or something like that. But I'm so passionate about that experience, man, and having an experience where people are comfortable. And they know they're gonna hear good music, and they know that nobody's judging them, and like that's just something I'm really trying to create.
I mean, it's incredible that like if you think of that, that's your paintbrush, right? Your personal like human experience paintbrush.
Yeah.
How cool is that? And like you think about like people use events to run for office. They use events to sell beer. They use events to just kind of get their music out. There's so many reasons to. But it becomes their paintbrush of how they want to affect the world, or at least give others experience. God, I love that, man. It's so good.
Yeah, man.
I love being part of it.
Yeah, man. You're
so
a huge
cool.
part of it, dude.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, man.
Cool, man.
So yeah, man. I mean, I think there's a few other things I wanted to ask you though.
Sure.
What about what have you learned about leadership? Because you're the CEO of this company, and it's like you're the man to blame when something goes wrong.
Awful.
And you're also the man that gets the praise when things are right. It's like, but you also have a bunch of people that you have to sort of delegate tasks to and manage and all that stuff. So like,
it's I didn't realize the extent that I have to be an umbrella. That's kind of your whole job. You have two jobs: don't run out of money and protect your team.
Yeah. And
I didn't realize that. For a while, I thought almost that it was my job to rain on my team so that they felt the pain of our users, and they felt how, they felt my pain. That's not actually it. It's your job to decide what gets through this umbrella, and, to really to be the umbrella, to be the protect, to be the shield. I didn't realize that until it got there, until I realized that that I was actually hurting my team by telling them all the bad stuff that I was dealing with. That's just something I learned kind of the hard way.
Growing pains, man.
Yeah,
but that's very honorable of you to mention.
Thanks, man. That was a hard lesson.
Yeah.
Man, but also I also didn't. I've been seeing a CEO coach. That's been something I didn't realize that could have been so useful. It is an interesting position to have to realize that you're actually learning through it. It feels so high stakes all the time.
Yeah.
It's a really scary place to be.
Yeah.
And so it can actually, as we were talking about earlier, if you as a leader start operating from fear, you're not actually operating effectively. And so really a lot of the game is to learn how to actually just operate yourself as a machine, right? And to know what inputs you need and how that'll change things. Because you nailed it, man. As a CEO, you can actually change the entire business. It's just going to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Right? But the game gets scary when you start acting in ways that you don't even really want because of the effect that you can have.
Yeah.
And so, things like fear, things like stress, things like not taking care of your body or lack of sleep. Yeah. Those things can really fuck with you.
Yeah,
so you gotta be careful of those things.
Yeah.
And man, God, that's at least what I've learned so far. And all I know at this point is that it's only gonna get scarier.
Yeah.
Being okay with it being scary is another thing I've had to learn.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be scary, and that's kind of it.
Yeah. I think that's entrepreneurship, man. It's like it is very scary.
It's just scary.
But it's like. I feel a certain way about it, and I'm going to ask you, it's like, could you see yourself doing anything else?
At this point, I don't think I would be able to. Yeah. I'd be such a bad worker. I don't know. Yeah, God, at this point, no. But, man, sometimes I wish I could.
Why?
Because imagine if someone could tell me the answers. It'd be so nice.
Yeah.
It'd be so nice. You're supposed to have these answers. I don't know. I've had to learn. I have a lot of different personality types to work with us now because we've grown, and man, to understand how to work with each of them and what drives each of them has been interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, group dynamics, the human experience in groups is just like an event. One person. This is actually something that I would say to anybody who's running a business. Do not affect. It's almost as if you dropped some ink into a glass of water. Mm. If you put a new person into your business, it can change everything. It'll change the whole consistency, the color. It's like osmosis. One person, better or for worse. Yeah. The guy we just sat down with, a guy named Clay, has changed this business. Man, he has changed everything. Everything. The other day we hired a new designer, Zach. Zach has changed everything. Yeah. And I'll also say we've hired people that we don't need to name that have changed everything for the worse. Yeah. One person, and just don't. Every person you add, that's either going to add or it's going to subtract. I didn't realize the effect of that. Just like ink into a water glass. Wow. Yeah. True story, man.
That's big, man.
It is. Yeah. I had to learn those things the hard way too.
Well, nothing is easy, man. Nothing in life that's worth it is easy.
No, true story. True story. Getting better at it.
Wow.
Cool.
Well, Ben, man, thank you, dude.
Cool. Thank you so much. This is such an honor.
Yeah.
Jabari presents,
it's
man.
It's been a while, man. We needed to do this, man. This is long overdue.
Yeah, indeed.
And we'll do it again, man.
Cool. Check in next year. Hopefully, at that point, we're in a whole office building. You know, hundreds of people working for us.
Absolutely. I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. So let people know where they can follow.
Yeah. So check out splashthat.com. So it's SPLASHTHAT.com. Create an event. If it doesn't go well, let me know. We'll get people to go to your event. We'll make your event look beautiful. I'll call every designer I know and make it look amazing. But hopefully it does, and you'll grow a big business like Jabari. Oh man, that's us, man.
I've Splash. I can't even. I wish I could give an accurate commercial or something for what Splash has done for
your events
for my
themselves
events.
Are commercials, man. They're
my
amazing.
Goodness. It's amazing. Seriously, guys, get out there. If you're doing any event of any kind, just go to splashthat.com and check out the site, and I'm telling you, you won't want to use anything else for sure. And so speaking of events, we've got Colors LA coming up, guys. All right, so Colors LA is April 4th. We've got my man DJ Spicoli and DJ Damage from Revolt in LA, and you guys know where it's at, Dragonfly. And if you guys want to check it out, come through. It's la.mycolorsparty.com. So la.mycolorsparty.com, and make sure you get yourself signed up to come through. And again, this is Words with Friends every Monday. What else? Oh yeah, Patreon. You guys, if you enjoyed the conversation, if you enjoyed the podcast, if this is your first time listening, go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Jabari, and give the podcast a tip. You can give $1 per podcast if you like what you hear, and if you want to hear more. All right. So thank you guys so much. Follow that at Splash That, right? Yeah. At Splash That on everything.
At Splash That.
All right. And you guys know me. It's at Jabari on everything: Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.com/Jabari.
Give the guy a tip on Patreon. Give him a tip. Don't be cheap.
Patreon. That's the move. All right, guys. Talk to you next Monday. Ben, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.